Hey everyone, I'm Mike Microphone, and the microphone is a metaphor for the fact that you have something beautiful to say, but you need to make the arrangements so you can be heard. Now, this afternoon I'm going to continue with my tools, my admin tools, for reviewing that I use for reviewing list items and lists to make sure that there's no bad words or unkind flavors that make it onto this site. So, the exciting update to this process is that I'm now showing you guys my backlog, and this is going to give me a quicker feedback loop so that whenever something pops into my head, I can just jot it down and not worry about whether I'm on camera. So no refresh after listed item approval or rejection. So the interface that I have is fast. This is not slowing me down that much. Even when I was going on a podcast and I wanted to quickly add hundreds of cards to a list as fast as I could, I was worried that this approval was going to slow me down because each reload was going to load these images, which are about a megabyte each. But it wasn't that slow. One of the ways this is impacting me is like my refresh count or my reload count for Google Analytics. There are probably better strategies for me to filter out meaningless stuff out of my analytics, but just as a matter of doing this correctly, I'm ready to change this around. So when I enhanced the list view, a lot of the tools that are meant for display ended up leaking into this interface for approval as well. So this is all stuff that I'm going to handle. But the first one is that I'm going to make these into fully ajaxified links so that they don't need to refresh this page, and it can be as quick as possible. It can be used as quickly as possible. So looking at the interface that builds those links, it's probably in here. Review, approve, reject. Okay. So I can just change these to read mode is true. And then I will want to create some JS actions that, okay, so let's see what happens if I just change that around, because what with the interaction between turbo links and everything else, there might be, this might still follow the redirect. So if I hit approve, okay. So I'm not sure exactly what TurboLinks did. It probably analyzed the payload from the response body and compared it to the HTML that I already have, taking some of the weight off of my server. This is not a hugely relevant thing, which is why I haven't done it before, but it's just a good development lesson, so that's why we're doing it now. It's going to be lighter weight for my server to reply with a sliver of JavaScript that says, get this thing off the page, rather than a payload of HTML that says, here's everything on the page. So, as you may remember, the way we do that is by adding JavaScript templates to this folder. So I'm going to say approve. And reject is probably going to be basically the same code, but in the controller here, I'm just going to make extra sure and cut these out. I don't think that my directive to reply with JavaScript is going to take effect automatically there. So I could add some code here that says like render templates listed items approved.js and ERB, and I could use the same template for both because what they're going to be doing is removing the element from the page. I think it's probably slightly better to have them be working differently so that I can like have some kind of visual reinforcement that they hit the right one. Anyway, let's first get the name of the element that is being removed. Okay, so it's simply just a div for the listed item. And then what we're going to do is, so normally I like the animated interfaces which slide. I don't want it to slow down my process, but I think that it will be quick enough. So I'm going to say slide up. And then okay, so nothing happened. First look at my server log. Okay, so it rendered the template without any errors. Now I'll look at my console here. See, there's no errors being reported. Okay, let's see what this said here. Okay, so instead of div4, I should have said DOM ID. I got them a little bit mixed up because div4 does put the ID here, but this text here is not a valid thing that I can put into a jQuery function, which is trying to look up a item in the DOM. So div4, I'll say DOM ID. I'll have to add a new item to a list in order to Skype. So now go into this. If I approve it, cool. So the approve and reject links are here, and it still says in iPad app. So I didn't actually get the whole. Okay. So listed item display is the method that is displaying the thing that I can approve or reject. Then these and this are all, these 4 lines of code, or 3 lines of code and 1, yeah, it is 4 lines of code. These are all extra interfaces that I have around approval system. And then this, as I mentioned, I'm also going to probably change that around so that not all of, well, I might actually just use styling to hide the interfaces that I don't need for the approval process, but I do need something to group all 5 of these lines together so that I can dismiss them all together. So I can say div for listed item approval interface for, and then here so I wonder if, rather than slide up, I could do like something scoop out. Like, so it would be approve goes up, reject goes out. Slide right. Could just be slide down. That might be enough for visual distinction. So this takes options: easing, queue, special easing step, progress, complete, start, done, fail, always. It doesn't, it's not obvious from this if I can make it go in a different direction. I mean, I know that I can. I just would have to use a different flavor of jQuery to do it. I might have to use some jQuery UI library. So thinking about whether it makes sense to separate the reject from approve, I think it kind of does. So I'll go in again and add, let's see. I would like to ban a card like shop. I don't actually want to ban shop. I decided to make this with a card that doesn't really let you know what I actually want to ban, if anything. Okay, so reject came back with this, which looks to be, oh, I think slide down is probably a show as opposed to a hide. Yeah. think what I will do instead is a fade, like a fade out. And interestingly enough, I think I can go ahead and rerun this since my interface is still showing it. So if I reloaded this page, this would not be displayed here because it is not part of the data doesn't match the attributes that are being queried by the controller. But since this element is still here on the page, I can hit the controller again, and the code that is here is, the logic is not going to prevent it from running again, even though the privacy is already set to rejected. So this can be run again, and I can just test if my interface is, oh, there we go. Okay, so we do have a slight visual distinction between approving and rejecting, so cool. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is actually make it so that if I'm logged in, I don't need to approve my own edits. So it's a bit redundant for now as I'm the main content contributor, but hopefully within a day I'll have a few other people contributing, and I'll be happy that I did it the right way before doing it, before streamlining my own tool set. So, I'm trying to think. I have done this for the listed items review set. I haven't done it for the lists review set. I think I will actually go ahead and cut off this video and make that into a separate one, because as useful as writing the same code twice is, I'm not going to force you to do it. So if you would like to review that and see me write that code again, or see if I am able to copy and paste into it to whatever, it'll just take a moment, but I'll make it into a separate video. So review for listed items updates the page is same listed. Alright guys, see you in a few minutes.